what you're doing is you're locking in your loss right now by going into CDs. And by the way, CDs do not fluctuate in value.
George, Charlotte, North Carolina writes in, hey guys, love your show. It's my number one financial podcast.
Number one
financial podcast.
Yeah.
Wonder how many he listens to.
Well, and there's a lot of other podcasts he'd rather listen to, but financially, we're number one.
Got it.
In his book.
I know bonds and stocks are usually uncorrelated assets, but this year they're both getting crushed. I decided to move my bond portion of my portfolio into 1-year CDs ranging from a 3 to 4% yields. I know these will still fluctuate in value, but I'm taking comfort knowing they will mature at par. I can then evaluate getting back into bond funds later next year when rates levels off. What do you guys think of this strategy? Well, I don't really like George selling assets when they're down to go into a fixed asset. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I think he just went from his bond portion to CDs.
No, I agree.
But the bonds are down. You're right. Without a chance to recover. So you're basically, what you're doing is you're locking in your loss right now by going into CDs. And by the way, CDs do not fluctuate in value. They are what they are.
It's a certificate of deposit.
Yeah, it's not a bond investment. It's just a certificate of deposit at a bank usually.
So let's talk about both of these investments real quick, Al.
Okay.
So here's what a bond is. It's a loan. Okay. And so let's say I have $100,000 that I'm going to lend Alan. Okay. Alan's going to pay me 3% per year on that $100,000 loan. And then it could be for 3 years, it could be for 5 years, it could be for 10 years. At the end of that term, guess what? I get the 3% and I get $100,000 back. That's a bond.
That's what a bond is.
It's a loan. Okay. And so as long as you hold the bond to maturity, you get your 3% and then you get your money back as long as there's not a default.
Yeah, as long as I got the 100,000.
Right. And then how high are default rates right now? Very, very low.
Sure.
Right. So you can go safe bonds, you can go risky bonds. And right now, why do bond prices fluctuate? Is because interest rates and bond prices, they have an inverse relationship.
Correct.
As interest rates go up, bond prices go down. But as long as you hold that bond to maturity, you're going to receive your money back as long as you don't sell it.
Right. So let's think about that. So you got a 3-year bond. You loan me money for 3 years. After year 1, you want your 100,000 back. And I say, I don't got it. I don't have it. I invested in my business. I'll pay you in 2 more years like we agreed. And then it's like, but I need the money. So then you go to the marketplace and say, will someone buy my bond, the Clopine? And they'll say, well, but the current interest rate is 5%. Why would I want
a bond at 3?
Yeah. So if I'm going to buy your bond at 3, you need to discount it because otherwise I want to be equivalent to earning 5%. So maybe the bond is now worth 90,000. That's only if you sell it early.
Correct.
Right. If you hold it for the 3 years, you get your 100,000 back.
Right. And so because if I'm trying to sell or trying to create that liquidity, as Alan just said, prior to the maturity date, then that's when you sell it at a discount or a premium.
And it can be a premium. That's right. What if interest rates go down? So you're getting a 3% payment, but now interest rates are 1. People would like to have a 3%. So you get to charge more for that because it's such a good interest rate.
Correct. And so what did George do? George said, you know what? I want to get out of these bond funds or bonds or whatever that he was in because they're down.
Right.
Well, they're down right now just because interest rates are up. And if you sell them on the open market, you're going to receive a discount for those bonds. If they hold them to maturity, the bonds will come back and you will get it back at par. So you sold at a loss to buy almost the same instrument.
Yeah. Well, I'll go back.
See, it's the same thing. It's the same concept, but you're not going to see the fluctuation of a CD move unless you try to sell it prior to maturity. And what they're only going to do there is probably just take away your interest.
Right. And so you locked in your loss. Now, if bonds and bond funds keep going down because interest rates keep going up for a long time, maybe that's a good move. But now you're predicting the market, timing the market, which is impossible. So really what you've done in doing this is you've locked in your loss because you've sold out of bonds while they're down. And now you're in CDs, which don't fluctuate.
Correct. So
Understand what you did.
Are you prepared for retirement? Schedule a free financial assessment with an experienced financial professional right online at purefinancial.com.